Thank you, sir. Now we will continue with the technical session 2. Here on, I would like Phanindra to take over. Over to you, Phanindra.
Thank you, Pallavi. First of all, a very good afternoon to one and all present here. I am Phanindra Pradhan of MBA first year with Finance as Specialization. And along with Ankit and Pallavi, we welcome you all to the second technical session on role and challenges of financial professional in the changing business environment. We have 5 panelists in the session, and now I would request Professor Pradipta Kumar Sanyal to welcome the panelists. Please, sir.
Thank you, Panindra. It's my privilege, honor to welcome Sir to our second technical analyst, technical session on role and challenges of finance professional in changing business environment. Today, we have with us a very senior finance professional, CA A.K. Sabas sir. He has been a very distinguished speaker and a very senior chartered accountant practicing in Bhubaneswar. So I'd like to welcome sir, and later on we will welcome other panel members to our technical session 2.
Thank you, sir. And before we move on to the panelists, I would request everybody to keep their questions ready for the respective speakers by the end of their session. So moving forward, I have the privilege of introducing the first panelist, that is Sir C. A.K. Sabat. Sir is a very senior practicing chartered accountant in Bhubaneswar with a wide experience in the field of finance, accounting, audit, and taxation. A rank holder chartered accountant, presently acting as the co-opted member of the Committee for Members in Practice of ICAI for the year 2022 and 23. He has been practicing as income tax consultant since 1983, appearing before various authorities including Cuttack branch of Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. He is the founder of A.K. Sabat and Company, chartered accountants with headquarters at Bhubaneswar in June 1982. It is also having a branch in Hyderabad. He has also been into the industry with Wipro, Bombay from 1979 to 1982 as a corporate accounts and audit manager reporting to Mr. Azim Premji, the chairperson of Wipro. He also acted as the director of many organizations, including 5 years of Sri Jagannath Temple administration. Now I would request Dr. Biswajit Acharya to welcome Sir to our university. Sir, please.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you, Phanindra, for setting the tune for this conclave. So we have been seeing various news regarding that audit professional work has recently undergone the biggest and fastest change, and it moved to a more flexible working model based on the need of the individual audit firms, audited company. Even COVID-19 has accelerated audit firm transition towards a new way of operating that will outlast the immediate effect of pandemic. Honorable Chartered Accountant A.K. Sabat sir, may I request you to throw some light on the recent changes and challenges in the field of audit for the finance professional. Sir, please.
Thank you very much. Birla Global, it has been a pleasure. Actually, when I went to your university and addressed the students and seeing the laughing faces of the students and very, very intelligent boys and girls, I had seen Samsung Maharana sir is there. So on his, invitation, and Lopa is there, who is our student. Okay. So it's a pleasure. When I was asked, actually, this is the month for us to finalize the accounts of various top companies where we are the auditors. But I was told that, sir, थोड़ा सा आपको सुनने के लिए अपना स्टूडेंट्स बेकरार है, तो हम बोला चलो ठीक है, हम कर देगा, बट लंच के बाद हम देखता है बच्चा लोग खाना खाया है नहीं खाया है वो तो मालूम नहीं है, because session immediately is getting restarted. Anyhow, all the best, Jai Jagannath, and I appreciate calling me for this panel discussion. Auditor's job has become very, very difficult in these last 3 years, along with the COVID which came. And COVID में हम लोग को almost office में बैठ के only through computer we had to do the audit by having the access to the records of the company, asking various questions and then getting the answers. Documentation is the most important thing when you are conducting the audit, because you are questionable at a later stage by various authorities, whether it is income tax or whether it is government, whether it is under Companies Act. So anywhere, whether it is ED, nowadays, you know, if any raid happens in any client's place, वो visit मार देते हैं auditor का office पे. So एक type of responsibility along with the risk is part of our auditing profession हो गया है. Now, recent changes which you have kept, it is not only for the auditors, but also for our MBA students who will become managers in the future. So, koi bhi company mein they will be there. They will have to take care that the company also does not face problem. हम लोग तो हमारा देखेगा कि we don't face problem. And but for you people, you have to see that your MD, your directors, and you yourself being a finance professional, you are not also facing problem. What are the changes which have come and challenging it is for us is there used to be a company's auditor's report order. पुराना चल रहा था, अभी 2020 में एक नया आ गया है, and that is applicable from 21-22 reporting. अभी जो हम साइन कर रहे हैं उसमें ये नया रिपोर्ट में हमको पूरा फॉर्मेट आ गया है. That has put us into a lot of responsibility for the purpose of you know, almost it's talking about going through the fixed assets का पूरा टाइटल डीड्स के ऊपर कमेंट मारो. एनक्रोचमेंट हो गया लैंड तो उसके ऊपर भी लिखो कि इनके हाथ में नहीं है वो जगह. Then you go through internal audit. Generally हम लोग बोलते थे हाँ कंपनी में सिस्टम ठीक है, इंटरनल ऑडिट अभी ठीक है नहीं है, वो adequacy of the internal audit, then the effectiveness of internal audit, action taken by the management related to queries of the internal auditor are not. ये सब के ऊपर हमको ओपाइन करने का है. Then ratio analysis and financial analysis of the company's financial statements करो, उसके ऊपर आप ओपाइन करो. Opinion हमको देना है whether the company is you know, not in any bad position or या future में. It means you are talking about, we are not astrologers but we are financial analysts. तो गवर्नमेंट बोलता है ये कंपनी एनपीए होने से पहले बता दो कि कंपनी का फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन इज नॉट दैट दिस कंपनी कैन कंटिन्यू विदाउट से टाइप ऑफ ज्यादा पैसा नहीं आता है या बिजनेस में और इंप्रूवमेंट चाहिए, कैपेसिटी यूटिलाइजेशन इज लो. ऑल दिस को वेरीफाई करना पड़ेगा, उसके ऊपर देना पड़ेगा. वेरियस रेशियोस आर सपोज टू बी सीन in the financial statements. वो रेशियो में अगर 25% से 25% is variation vis-a-vis in the standard ratio, then you should say that company का ratio जो analysis हम किया है, that is actually not coming out good for the company. So whistleblower के ऊपर reporting, fraud के ऊपर reporting, बेनामी transactions के ऊपर reporting, like that. And suppose you have taken a loan, वो लोन को जिस पर्पज के लिए लिया है उस पर्पज के लिए यूटिलाइज करते हो या डाइवर्ट कर देते हो दूसरा you know, एक्टिविटीज के लिए, then also the auditor is supposed to be reporting. The many companies, they are holding companies, they take the money and then होल्डिंग कंपनी के लिए लेता है बट अल्टीमेटली डिफरेंट सब्सिडियरी क्रिएट करके उधर सब पैसा ट्रांसफर कर देता है, फ्रॉम वेयर दोज आर यूटिलाइज्ड फॉर अदर पर्पसेस व्हिच द प्रमोटर वांट्स टू डू इट. उसके ऊपर भी यू हैव टू रिपोर्ट इंक्लूडिंग द रिलेटेड पार्टी ट्रांजैक्शंस, रिलेटेड पार्टी का डिस्क्लोजर देने का, वो पार्टी के साथ क्या ट्रांजैक्शन हुआ है, उसके साथ फाइनेंशियल रिलेशनशिप क्या है, all that is also required to be shown. It means auditor's report has become one of the not a normal report as it used to be. I call it a abnormal report, and the auditor's responsibilities have grown very high. अपना मेन ये हम जो बताएं आपको कारो 2020, but main auditor's report, it's like a qualified report versus unqualified report. और unqualified report qualification अगर देगा auditor, so then he has to say why is he qualifying and what is the reason of giving a qualified report. So that is required. Then वो report में आपको एक key audit matters बोल के आएगा. Key audit matters क्या होता है? Neither it is qualification nor it will be an emphasis of matter, which I'll tell you after that. So emphasis of matter नहीं है कि qualification नहीं है, but it is a very significant items which you had to review. And what type of audit process which we followed, that will be given. So that is why neither it comes under emphasis of matter nor it comes as a qualification. Or emphasis of matter क्या होता है? It is not a qualified opinion. It is not, opinion is not modified, but there are certain issues which are very, very important, which should be referred, so that transparency will come in the reporting through the statutory auditor himself. The outsider who reads from the report, he will come to know company ka various matters of significance. Then आपका एक नया चीज इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ है कि इंटरनल फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोल्स, कि कंपनी में फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोल्स कैसा है. इंटरनल फाइनेंशियल कंट्रोल्स को कंपनी इज टाइम टू टाइम गोइंग थ्रू और नॉट, इंटरनल ऑडिटर के थ्रू में वेदर करवाते हैं, इंटरनली करवाते हैं, that is to be seen by the auditor, and he has to give a separate report as part of the annexure stating that company's internal financial control are okay or it needs improvement. If improvement, then कौन सा एरिया में improvement जरूरी है. तो ये एक separate, पहले ये नहीं था. और आपका this disclosures Companies Act में change किए हैं गवर्नमेंट. From this year onwards, 21-22, certain disclosures are required to be given, which were earlier not given. And please remember, disclosures अभी जब देंगे 21-22 का, तो previous year figures are required to be given. So पहले ही हम बोल दिए थे कि देखो भाई ये आ रहा है for this year, means previous year का भी figures वगैरह ले लो. आपका ट्रेड रिसीवेबल, सैंड्री डेटर्स कब से एक्चुअली आउटस्टैंडिंग है उसका एज एनालिसिस करके रखने का. देन सैंड्री क्रेडिटर्स वो कब से पड़ा है, एंड देन उसमें आएगा एमएसएमई को कितना आप इट्स अ ड्यू, बिकॉज एमएसएमई आर सफरिंग, सो गवर्नमेंट हैज ब्रॉट डाउन दिस. आपका इफ सम स्टोर्स आर सरप्लस और इट इज जस्ट लाइंग से अनयूटिलाइज्ड, देन उसके ऊपर कमेंट देने का है. कैपिटल वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस, आप बोला कि ये एसेट मेरा रेडी होकर 2 साल के अंदर इसको मैं ऑपरेशन में डाल देगा. इधर देखते हो तो 5 साल हो गया, 7 साल हो गया, वो वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस पे पड़ा है. तो गवर्नमेंट हैज स्टेटेड उसको डिस्क्लोज करो कब से पड़ा है और कब तक ये होगा, नहीं तो आप उसका प्रोविजनिंग करो कि दैट एसेट व्हिच इज शोन इन द बैलेंस शीट is not an asset which is a good asset. तो ये Companies Act में the changes which have come. Then आपका in income tax law, it has become very, very tough. You know, you must have heard about faceless assessment, faceless appeal. It means हमारा face का value और चला गया है. Suppose I am practicing for 40 years. Everybody knew, अरे एक साहब का है, उनका फाइल है तो नहीं वो बहुत अच्छा आदमी है, वो गड़बड़ी नहीं होगा वो पर्टिकुलर फाइल में. हाँ, he will not sign on wrong paper. ऐसा थोड़ा सा जगन्नाथ जी के थ्रू में वो हमारा गुडविल है एक्चुअली. ओके, बट वो गुडविल अभी और कुछ नहीं है, बिकॉज कौन टिम्बकटूर में दैट असेसिंग ऑफिसर विल बी डूइंग, हु विल नॉट बी नोइंग मी एंड आई विल नॉट बी नोइंग हिम. Similarly, वो assessment order होने के बाद there will be an appeal. The appellate commissioner will not be knowing me and I will not be knowing. ये transparency के नाम में कि there should not be, ये जो bribes वगैरह का बोलते थे कि income tax में bribe लेते हैं and on that basis the files are being processed. वो सब मोदी जी सोचा कि इसको avoid कर देंगे अगर faceless हो जाता है. So that's how this is introduced. All these are recent phenomena. Okay. So then नया चीज सरकार introduce करते हैं जहां the company can be in trouble, company's manager can be in trouble, and auditor can be in trouble. It is called as underreporting of income, misreporting of income. Those words they have brought in through amendment of law. अगर मिस रिपोर्टिंग और अंडर रिपोर्टिंग हुआ है, एडिशनल टैक्स देना पड़ेगा, पेनल्टी हो सकता है एंड प्रोसिक्यूशन हो सकता है. एंड इफ द ऑडिटर हैज साइंड सच अकाउंट्स वेयर द अंडर रिपोर्टिंग एंड मिस रिपोर्टिंग हैज हैपेंड, देन द ऑडिटर विल बी टेकन टू टास्क, व्हिच अर्लियर वाज नॉट दैट मच ऑफ स्ट्रिक्ट एंड अभी ये शुरू हो गया है. एंड बिकॉज इट वाज it's because of some black sheeps in the profession, the whole profession gets actually a bad name. Imagine the GST frauds which are happening. उसमें आता है कि उनका चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट ये था एंड ये इनवॉइसिंग सब टाइप ऑफ फ्रॉड इनवॉइसिंग हुआ है. नाम तो खराब हुआ ना चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट का. देन शेल कंपनीज आर क्रिएटेड. शेल कंपनी करके उधर से एंट्री का धंधा होता है. तो इट मीन्स विच कंपनी विल बी साइनिंग द अकाउंट्स विदाउट द चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट. तो वहां चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट का नाम बदनाम होता है. तो वी हैव टू बी केयरफुल बिकॉज अभी छोड़ेगा नहीं, मोदी जी किसी को छोड़ेगा नहीं. ऑन 1 जुलाई 2017 व्हेन जीएसटी वाज इंट्रोड्यूस, मोदी जी वैसे बोले हैं, प्लीज रिमेंबर आई डोंट बिलोंग टू एनी पार्टी, या मोदी जी का हम कुछ प्रेज कर रहे हैं. हम जब सेंटेंस बोलेगा उधर से पता चलेगा कितना प्रेज किया हम. पहले बोले ये जो कलम है चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. ऑडिटर्स रिपोर्ट साइन करते हो, मैं प्राइम मिनिस्टर हूं, मैं साइन कर सकता हूं क्या? नहीं. तो इट मीन चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट ही फेल्ट, वाह मोदी जी हमको ऊपर उठाया. ऊपर जिसको उठाएगा वो नीचे गिरेगा ही गिरेगा. और नेक्स्ट सेंटेंस बोले कि डिमोनेटाइजेशन में जो सब गड़बड़ी हुआ वो सब द मैनेजमेंट एंड द चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स वेर इन्वॉल्व, किसी को छोड़ेगा नहीं. एंड नेक्स्ट आइटम ही टोल्ड दैट सेल कंपनीज क्रिएट होता है तो एंट्री का धंधा होता है एंड उसमें द मैनेजमेंट एंड द ऑडिटर. अब मैनेजमेंट में हम आप लोग को डालता है, जो एमबीए लोग तुम जाकर वेरियस कंपनी में ज्वाइन होंगे, उधर अगर ऐसा टाइप का कंपनी में ज्वाइन हो जाओगे तो यू विल बी पार्ट ऑफ द मैनेजमेंट. एंड इफ आई एम द ऑडिटर एंड ये धंधा होता है, आई एम नॉट रिपोर्टिंग एट ऑल, देन आई विल बी पार्ट ऑफ द मैनेजमेंट. वो बोले किसी को छोड़ेगा नहीं. And it means he wants that be honest and do not join hands with the management to defraud the nation or to go against the, because anybody who cheats the nation, they are supposed to be financial terrorists, economic terrorists. India का इकोनॉमी को अगर कोई हर्ट करता है तो naturally he is like a terrorist. So ये सब में it is it has become very important that the auditor's role becomes very important for the nation, for himself and for the management to be told, sir ये मत कीजिए. अब अगर ये सब धंधा करते हो ना, हमको ऑडिट नहीं चाहिए सर, चला जाएगा हम. I will not take up your audit. You must be seeing now in papers that lot of even big firms तो क्या है, छोटा फर्म क्या है, सब फर्म इज फर्म एंड चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट जो पास हो जाता है वो तो ऑडिटर ही है, ठीक है, और ही इज इन द मैनेजमेंट. तो पीपल आर रिजाइनिंग फ्रॉम चार्टर्ड दिस एज ऑडिटर because they find that the systems and the accounts maintenance are not found to be suitable for them. And ये सही नहीं है बोल के the people are resigning. That's all because of the responsibility and risks which are actually there in the auditing field, and the fear of being taken to suppose झारपड़ा गुने बैग आमुगु बोले कौन हो? I'm talking about the jail, which is provided, and the jail term is provided for auditors, and also provided that your दरकार पड़ने से आप अगर संपत्ति बनाया है ऐसा फ्रॉडुलेंट थिंग्स करके तो आपका संपत्ति को जब्त कर सकते हैं. So one has to be extremely careful. There is something called as लक्ष्मण रेखा. सीता लक्ष्मण रेखा क्रॉस किया तो रावण लेकर चला गया. ऐसा इधर भी लक्ष्मण रेखा के अंदर रहो नहीं तो पुलिस आकर लेकर जेल में डाल देगा. This is the difference. Okay, so we have to be careful. My advice to all of you will be, please follow Satya, Nyaya, Dharma, no greed, dirty word hai, no ego, Bhagwan nahi diya sing humko, and follow the principles of honesty, integrity, hard work, discipline, character, punctuality, and loyalty to the organization, and no bribe. ये जो लास्ट में हम बोला ये हमको 1979 में when I joined Wipro, Ajim Premji, my management guru, had told me. 79, I'm talking to you, when I joined as the CFO of Wipro, 30 करोड़ का टर्नओवर था and कुछ लाखों में उनका प्रॉफिट होता था. तब I am the first CFO. I was the first CFO of Wipro. तो वही सर हमको बोला कि देखो ये प्रिंसिपल्स हम लोग फॉलो करेंगे. Every year I meet him because of these principles which I followed, and I saw that it is put forward in the company for the growth. I meet him every year, and he allows me to meet him and spend half an hour and have a cup of coffee with him. Okay, and Satya, Nyaya, Dharma हम जो बोला है, और no greed and no ego, ये ऑडिटर के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. ये सब अगर प्रॉपरली फॉलो करेगा तो हम लोग को प्रॉपर ऑडिटर मिलेगा एंड प्रॉपर ह्यूमन बीइंग्स मिलेगा, वेदर फ्रॉम एमबीए और फ्रॉम द चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंसी. देश को ये बहुत जरूरी है. एंड यू मे थिंक क्या साबत साहब ये सब करता है, इनको तो म्यूजियम में होना चाहिए. चलो मैं अगर ये जो बीजेपी कॉलेज के पास म्यूजियम में मुझे डाल देता है कि ऐसा सब ऑनेस्टी का बात करता है, कुछ तो हमको कंपेनियन चाहिए ना. तो आप लोग स्टूडेंट्स में से जो भी फॉलो करेगा आपको लाएगा, उधर बैठ के गप्पा मारेंगे. ठीक है, प्लीज फॉलो all these principles to become proper MBA and proper managers, and you will be helpful to the nation for nation building. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable insights. And I believe, if I'm not wrong to say, that everybody has something to take from what you said. And we will keep this in our minds in our future as well. And now, sir, I would like to invite my friend Ankit Prasad Bhagat to invite the next panelist. Thank you.
Thank you, Phanindra, for inviting me and giving me a privilege to introduce Mr. CMA Devraj Biswas. Sir is a fellow member of the Institute of Cost and Work Accountant of India. He served the Odisha power sector for more than 30 years in the various CB, GIDCO, and SESHU. He retired from the power sector as a Chief Executive Officer of SESHU in 2008 January. Thereafter, he joined Bhubaneswar Stock Exchange in February 2008 as the Managing Director and discharged the duties and functions of the Managing Director till December 2015. He played a key role in the power sector reforms in the state of Odisha. He represented the state for preparation of staff appraisal report, the roadmap of reform, which was placed before the World Bank board for the sanction of $350 million for Odisha power sector during his 1995. He has a wide knowledge and experience in the financial management, costing, budgeting, regulatory matters, debt scheduling, and investment planning, not only in the power sector but also in the core sectors. His continuous interaction with the various stakeholders like Government of India, Government of Odisha, World Bank, DFID, lenders like Power Financing Corporation, Rural Electrician Corporation, LIC, commercial banks, etc. And generators like NTPC, NHPC, OHPC, OGPC, and PGCIL, etc. on almost all the bilateral issues has subsequently improved the financial position of the power sector in the past reform days. During his 3 years of tenure as a chief executive officer in SESHU, he has subsequently improved the financial position of the company from the deficit to the surplus. He improved the revenue collection of the company from 48 crore to 73 crore per month, which speaks of his professional expertise and motivational capabilities. He also took a lot of initiative for satisfaction. During his career, he has trained within the country and abroad, including the US and Europe, and has gained an adequate knowledge on power sector and also management expertise. Sri Biswal at present is an independent director of Governing Board of Industrial Promotion and Investment Corporation of Odisha, Odisha Construction and Corporation of Odisha, Hydropower Corporation. He has also acted as a government director of governing body of Odisha Police Housing Welfare Corporation, SESHU, Ortel, and other interconnected stock exchanges of India. And if you see in Odisha Agro Industry Corporation Limited also, and OSRTC also. I would like Biswajit sir to welcome sir to our university. Thank you.
Thank you, Ankit. We are very much fortunate, sir, you have accepted our request for this finance conclave. Sir, as we all know, the business environment never rests. Regulations are always changing, global competition continues to increase, and technology provides continual disruption. With respect and great honor, may I request Honorable CMA Devraj Biswal, sir, please enlighten us by throwing light on recent changes and development in the field of finance. Sir, please.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good
Am I
afternoon.
audible to you?
Yes, sir.
So I can continue.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you first for inviting me into this Global Institute of Birla Institute. Actually, I have visited this campus 2 or 3 times when I was in the stock exchange. It was a brilliant experience for me. And again, one of my good friend, Mr. Samson Maharana, is also there at present with the commerce as a dean in the commerce department. You have heard a prolific speaker before me, a good friend of mine, close friend of mine, Mr. A.K. Sabath, a professional colleagues of mine. So anyway, you have invited me to give a talk on the recent changes and development in the field of finance. Actually, I am an obsolete man. When I was managing the corporate environment of the finance and the discipline in the power sector, it was some 15, 20 years back. 15 years back, say, and in the process, a lot of changes have taken place in the meantime. But I still feel I have kept myself abreast about the latest development in every sector, not only because since you have told me I am in the board of the Industrial Promotion and Investment Corporation of Odisha Limited, that is GPCOL, which is the single window for the development of industries in the state of Odisha. So I have tried my best to keep abreast with the latest developments. So whatever is there, I will not give any specific subject on the intricacies of any statistics, but I will talk about overall the economic environment, the challenges, the prospects or the potential for the professionals or the management students in the tomorrow's economic environment in India, and actually how they are placed today and what are the challenges and opportunities for them for tomorrow. And in the process, I will just highlight few points. And if you require, I can keep 4 or 5 minutes for the students. If they can ask any question to me, I will try my best to answer that question. So coming back on the subject, I tell you, this recent changes and development in the field of finance. So having entering into subject, I want to tell the students actually how we are placed today in the Indian economy. So after passing out as a student, how you intend to be? Somebody wants to be a professional manager in a corporate business. Maybe I am putting in the 4 facets where you can prove to yourself. Then somebody can go to a private practice as a management consultant, where you have a ample of scope today, because then the third one, you can't be in the academics, because the persons who are listening to me today, they are all in academics, and academics is having a long future for tomorrow. We want strong academics so that we can build up the right students for the tomorrow's economic environment. And the fourth one, which you may or may not like, where you are lacking the most, that lot of professionals or business management professionals are not in politics. I personally intend that lot of professionals who enter politics, though the environment is not that conducive, but look to the Modi's cabinet, the persons who are really delivering, I'm not going to name anybody, but they're having hardcore professionalism behind them. So we need core professionals in politics, both in state and center. So I find some 4 facets where a management professional can fit in, and the choice is yours. So coming back to the subject, I think you have had a lot of deliberation over in the technical section 1, technical section 2 on this subject. And I've already told you, we are a growing economy. All along we are discussing about the double-digit growth, sustainable growth, inclusive growth. All these things are the order of the day. So it is possible that we'll be able to achieve 10% growth. We can sustain it over a period of 10 to 15 or 20 years. And the benefit of this growth must go to the common man, which we talk about the inclusive growth. So that is why, because why I am talking this, let the management student know where he is placed today to think of a career or think of a future tomorrow. Unless you know that, then you cannot, before knowing the changes or knowing the development that is doing in the field of finance, moreover, you find yourself where you are placed today. Are you saturated? Are you being placed for a job tomorrow? No, it is not a situation like that. The situation is that we have ample of scope, because you look to the economy, we never find a resource constraint today. Our problem is the decision-making process is in the problem. The challenges before the economy is that the law and order are not in good shape. The international terrorism has interacted to the states, places in various locations. Then the corruption at very high places, that is also affecting the economy. Then other things we are not able to cope up, so that, but the opportunities are more. If you look 20 years back, we are able to generate 20% internal contribution for the projects or to the financing the business house. 80% was brought into loan. So we have to pay heavy interest on that. That the interest cost, if you look to the reform period in the 90 to 100, it was something at the rate of around 15 to 16%. The call money market was something 24%. Today, 60 to 70% of the internal resources are coming from the promoters itself, because we have huge cash surplus with the corporate world in India itself, with the private enterprises, with the central public sectors. So money is not a constraint today, and the bank's lending rate is also very less. So that is why the resource constraint is not there. Only the will that can bring a real transformation to the economy, and where we can. So coming back to the subject, I can tell you. So the major problem is that the technology has changed every day. The technology are getting updated, and a lot of the finance function of the yesterday has been taken over by technology. So what the finance professional will do today? So if the normal accounting, normal billing, normal payroll accounting, everything has been taken over by technology. If you look to your banking sector, this mobile banking has come into operation. A particular payment to a contractor, which was taking around 10 to 15 minutes in preparing a voucher, preparing a check, everything is now being done on the click of a button. Check is issued, funds getting transferred online, the accounting advisor is going immediately to the concerned locations. So technology has replaced a lot of. So what is the role for the finance professional today? So we have to switch over to planning, forecasting, then implementing all the budgetary things that we have, whether the budgetary concept, what we have formulated at the beginning of the year, is really transformed into action. If you look to the government side of things, we all discuss about government budgets, but at one point of time, we discuss about how much we have transformed into the ground reality, what we have projected in the physical financial terms, and what we have achieved. So this is also equally applicable to a corporate house, to a public sector undertaking, both in the state and central government, where all these things are happening. So a finance professional have to look to the latest technology and evolving very fast, and it is extensively used in the coming days. So please keep abreast with the latest technology, upgrade your knowledge, and continuously interact with that. So that is the recent requirement in the mind of a professional, to get abreast with the technology and continuously work on that, so that you are not getting in the background. Then you look to the legal framework. Today you work anywhere, the legal framework is in very stringent. We have the latest Companies Act 2013. We have the laws on this banking and bankruptcy code, that is the insolvency, banking and solvency code. Then we have this new GST, goods and services tax. Then we have the RERA, because every corporate house you look, you have some real estate involvement, having your own building, having your involvement with the real estates or something like that. So the RERA is the latest act on which this real estate regulatory act. So you have also to be keeping abreast with that. And let me tell you, it is a continuous process. So every day you have to update yourself about the latest laws and the labor laws, because a finance professional has a very big role, because he has to enter into every discipline, marketing, technical, HR, every discipline. So because you have to conquer the proposal, and as a finance man, you have to give your views how to carry out this, the policy of the corporation of the corporate world into action. So you have to keep abreast with the latest laws, including various labor laws also, because it involves the employee's future and all these things. So you have to keep abreast of that. So you have to be abreast with the latest legal framework. That is the new requirement, which was not there 15, 20 years back. We don't have so much of act. The Companies Act was 56 have brought a lot of new things in the 2013 Act. Then this bankruptcy, insolvency and bankruptcy code is also very important for that. So you have to take cognizance of that. Then this is a continuous learning. You have to update yourself, and there is a continuous learning. Then you have the artificial intelligence. So all these things are the new concepts. So Sabat sir has told you during going for the audit how you have to keep abreast to the latest technology and latest concept. So artificial technology also, learning is also that is more as much is required. Then there is a question of multiple software issues, because all these things what I am talking you in one line, because you might have discussed it in your previous technical session. So I do not want to put much here on that. Then you have to deal with multiple softwares. Isn't being today, because of technology, a lot of softwares are being used for your day-to-day management purposes. You have to keep abreast of that. Otherwise, what will happen? There is a cyber crime or cyber problem is coming to these technological issues. So you have to keep yourself that your data are protected. It is not hijacked by some cyber criminals. So that is why you have to keep abreast about that concepts also regarding the cyber security of the data. And the litigation management. When I talk the laws, the other part is the litigation management. Litigation means if you want, in the corporate world today, you see every globalization process, everything is coming into picture, and which every small things are going to for litigation. So you have to the utilization of capacity, resource management, risk analysis, management, and so all these things, litigations of all these things, you have to keep abreast. And since you will be getting a lot of time, because the routine finance work is being taken over by technology or software, you have to put your mind for the budgeting, planning, risk analysis, then management of cost, then so effectiveness of internal control, So all are the priorities for the finance professional in the new finance and economic environment. Then I tell you, the country is now going through a robust regulatory framework. We have as many as 4 or 5 strong regulators. The Reserve Bank of India bringing monetary policy in every 3 months. That the old man in the regulatory system with more than 80 years old. We have a strong young man in the SEBI, the Security Exchange Board of India. We have a young boy in the insurance category, the IREDA, Insurance Regulatory Authority. And we have an infant regulator in the pension and PFRDA. So then we have other peripheral regulators like RERA, Electricity Regulatory Commission, because all these regulators for some time, when I tell the financial regulator of 4, they will be required on a day-to-day basis. For the peripheral regulators like electricity or the real estate, they will be required as and when required. So you have to keep yourself abreast about the latest, not only this regulatory framework, but all the rules and regulations framed thereunder from time to time. So one thing again, I come back and tell you, the students, because since we are on a virtual mode, how many of you read the newspaper daily? I will request from the dais any response to that, whether 70-80% of the students or all the students that read newspaper daily, or especially the economic and finance subjects. When I have gone on physical mode with most of the management colleges, 50% of the students, they do not read newspaper. Don't read newspaper, but update yourself in the Google search or whatever internet search is there. Please update yourself on when you will be in your job or when you will be in private practice or whatever there. You have to update your knowledge on this front. So abreast with the latest regulatory framework, that is important. Then you have to give yourself abreast about the accounting standard. We have national accounting standard published by the Institute of Chartered Accountants, and we have the international accounting standards. So you have to abreast yourself about the national and international accounting standards. Then you have also to put yourself in the tax planning, because the tomorrow's scenario is that if you have to survive in the economy, you have to make profit, you have to improve your revenue, you have to reduce your cost, and for that you have to adopt the latest technology so that you can bring more profit to the organizations and better tax planning so that the corporation or the entity or the industry is benefited out of that. The most important part of this is that please get connected to the customers. Normally, if finance discipline boys are a little bit shy, they confine to their work, but never, because what is happening, when you as a finance manager get involved with the process of marketing area, HR area, technical area, social sector area, so with the passage of time, you forget your discipline and grow as a manager because you have entered all the disciplines. Remember, with the growth of time, please forget yourself as a finance professional and be a corporate manager. If you look to the most of the central PSUs today, even technologically very high like ONGC, BEL, HPCL, or even NTPC, Power Grid, their chief executives are mainly from the finance discipline. So please remember that the tough man does not belong to any discipline. And the time you grow with the time, you forget that you belong to finance discipline and you grow yourself as a manager to become the chief executive of a company. Why I have told it? For that, you have to expose yourself and that you have to look into that. Anyway, by putting yourself with the customers, you will not only get a big knowledge for yourself, but you will be able to transform or translate a lot of good things for the company. I am not, because we have shortage of time, I cannot explain how I have transformed it with this and a global work. So remember, we are in an economy where we have the best things available. We have the best of times, we have the worst of times. There is everything with us, there is nothing with us. There is spring of hope, yet there is winter of despair. आम अर्थनीति भितर सबू अच्छी आम सबू करिपरिबा Kintu I have already told the challenges and opportunities why you are not able to do that. Tasotto, please don't get disheartened. Reason being, we are talking of a 5 trillion economy. So that should be our endeavor. And for that, while addressing our job in the corporate world, we have to look to the rural economy because 70% of people stay there. Their contribution to the GDP is less than 5 to 10%. So we have to transform something to the rural economy in our business industry so that the things can also evolve there and their contribution to the GDP can improve. That will ultimately help our industry in the growth area. So please put always your mind to the growth of the rural economy, wherever you find an opportunity to do so. So please connect with the customers and remember, customer is the God. Unless they are both your customers. That is an internal customer, they are your employees, or an external customers like your who are trading with us as a supplier for goods and services or who are buying products from you. So please get connected to all of them. So these are the real changes for the global economy for tomorrow. And remember, when achieving these things, it is not that a difficult thing, provided you really put your mind into this area. And for this, you require very hard work. And there is no substitute for hard work. Because in this globalization economy, you have to accustom with yourself with the rural. So globalization is the tide of the time. But localization is the underlying current. So you learn everything from the global economy, but learn as a finance professional how you can implement it in your economy or in your environment in India. So that will tide over the time and for that, you have to do a very hard work. And remember, there is no substitute for hard work and you will succeed in your life if you do hard work. And remember, for that, you please have faith and trust in God and God will come to your rescue to help for that. So anyway, the subject is vast. We can still deliberate on this. I am intending to close it here, but anybody have any questions? We can have a 2-3 minutes time. I can try to answer any question if you have any such things. And thanking you again now for inviting me for this program and all my blessings and best wishes for the students. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for giving your delighted, from a power sector to a business, Bhubaneswar Stock Exchange and changing your delighting things. Thank you for giving your insightful to us. I would like from here, the next panelist to ask. I would like Pallavi to take from here.
Thank you, Ankit. It's my privilege to now introduce Sir Khandasamy Ganpati. Sir is having more than 22 years of experience in the area of architecture and now working as Chief Architect and Portal's COE head at Minttree, 12 plus years worked at Sound Architect, around 10 plus years worked at Technical Consultant at Blue Star Infotech, India, HP GDIC India and RS Software Calcutta. As financial modeling expert, worked as thought partners with business management by demonstrating strong collaboration skills, financial aptitude, excellent business intuition, and capability to work at multiple levels to drive key strategic and tactical decisions. Did MSc from Manoramam Sundaram University, Tirunelveli, Tamil Nadu. Now, I would like Dr. Biswajit Acharya to welcome Sir to our university. Please, Sir.
Good afternoon, sir. We are very much fortunate to have you in our campus. So,
Message, sir, Savas sir wants to say something.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I have to go to a top company for where finalization is going on. So I will not be able to spend now. I was waiting for Biswal sir. We are together professionals coming in TV and all this. I offer myself for visiting your university whenever time comes and spend at least 2 hours with your students covering gamut of items, whether taxation, accounting standards and the economy and all these and their questions to be answered. So you'll excuse me to just go to because my partners are waiting there and another audit firm is waiting and we are just working on the finalization of accounts of that public sector top company.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks a lot. It's an honor to have you with us. We are very much honored.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay. Sir, the world has made a rapid pace in adoption of technology, especially in different finance sector like banking, insurance, and many other sectors of finance. And over the concept of blockchain and cryptocurrency are most happening areas of finance nowadays. Honorable Sir, may I request you to provide your take on related to adoption of new technologies, issues, and challenges in finance. In detail, how fintech is shaping in future of finance. Sir, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Are you all able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Acharya ji, for your nice introduction, and thank you, Pallavi, for your introduction as well. Basically, I am a hardcore technology person. I never been into finance area in the past. I am in this technical architect design solutioning area for the last 2 decades. I am working on various enterprises. In the last couple of years, I was asked to look after our practice P&L and guidance portfolio by one of our manager. That is when I started looking at what is that finance is doing in my world of work. Then when I started interacting or started reading things, what is financial modeling, what are the methods, what are the technology it supports for that. That is when I got into deep. And also at the other side of my work, we have various clients who are from the fintech side of it, the banking customers, insurance customers. Everyone has their own products. Everyone has their own in-house, either an in-house applications or in a cards products which bought it from that or a cloud applications. So that is how my fintech awareness came into picture. So if you look at it, what are the challenges in today's world with respect to the fintech, and should we really need to look at as a challenge or as an opportunity? For me, it is both, because there are quite a lot of financial data informations because of the various financial methods which we are using in day-to-day activities, be it in a individual or corporates or any enterprises. They do have quite a lot of financial transactions. But at the same time, there are quite a lot of risk associated with that. To safeguard those, there are a lot of regulatory and compliance laws are being introduced by the government for the respective countries. So if I take few challenges which I want to highlight over here, and those challenges, how we are looking at from the technology perspective as an opportunity to serve this particular area, so that we are into win-win situation. The first challenge, I would say, the data privacy and application security challenges. As you know that in the digital environment, especially in the financial sector, including the mobile banking and payment apps, is one of the most affected by the cyber criminal, or it is in their top targets. So the cyber security vulnerabilities can impact the customers' money as well as their personal data. So that is where the technology comes into picture. Before we make sure that developing any new application or solution to any of the finance solutions, we will make sure that we are following the fintech best practices as well as the regulatory and compliance law defined by the respective states and country, so that any solution which we are releasing it does not miss any of those angles. On top of it, the data security as well as the protection from the cyber criminals, how securely our data are all packaged and send it from source to destination, and it is not stored in any unauthorized locations. It is saved inside a encrypted data format based inside the system. So, and then we also want to give in the legacy days or the earlier days, you all know that we used to go to the bank to do all the transactions, but now that is not the scenario. It is evolved over a period of time from manual transaction to the next level of, what do you say, the digital. You can log into the application and do, but now in today's scenario, you can do it everything in through mobile. But the challenge with the mobile is there are so many vendors who are producing new apps, and they are also for implementing certain logics. They keep some kind of cookie type of logic. It is a technology feature which they leverage to store your information temporarily, so that the performance of the application becomes very fast, and you feel that you are not seeing any lag when you are accessing the application. But those storage, that the cookie informations are being targeted by the cyber criminals or cyber security. It becomes an example for the cyber security criminals to go and get your data. So all these details we need to see how we can. So if you look at how fintech industry geographic heat map, North America leads the most. It has around 48 or 38% of fintech companies or fintech related transactions are happening in North America. They are the number one leader. The second largest will be the South of America, and then third Asia. So Asia is one of the fastest growing uh, geography in fintech space. That is one thing we just need to make sure that we are understanding, so that we are also in aligned to which are the countries we are focusing in terms of fintech, especially for those the students who are learning. They need to understand what is their market in future, where their focus should be, how they can adopt the technology and the domain for their career, and where all they can look after for their career opportunities. So, as I mentioned, the cyber criminal for the payment part of it is one challenge. Another one is the lower physical engagement of customer with companies can increase the level of customer attrition. That is, which means that there are many areas where things are getting automated, where applications are replacing the human activities where they were manually doing things. Due to that, there is some amount of attritions are happening, but that is getting adjusted by the technical or technology professionals who are involved in developing those solutions and then managing those solutions are much higher. So that way, the people who are doing the manual activity, if they are in the process of moving or upgrading themselves from what they are doing manually to a process oriented, or leveraging the technology, or bringing an automation capabilities, if they upgrade themselves, there is no need for them to think that it is a challenge. They themselves very well position themselves to grow in their career. And when it comes to the growth drivers for this, again, the mobile usage. If you want, earlier days, it is only for the insurance you can take through mobile, or certain key things you can do it. But in today's scenario, any banking related activities, you can do it through mobile, and that increases the volume of end users who are going to use this technology and applications in the future as well, so that the demand is going to grow. And the major players of the market investing in regulatory technology and making sure that the application comply with that particular regulatory compliances is also another aspects you need to look at it. By learning those areas, you can become a professional in catering the demands of regulatory compliance related services. That is another growth driver for the fintech industry, especially for the students. It's they can either get into application development where those things can be built using built for financial applications, or safeguarding those financial applications through regulatory compliance and laws and securities. All those things is an additional layer, which will be an additional opportunity for us to go and look at it. What are those? How we can gain those knowledge and build it. The third part of is the online trading and e-payments. Living says app development for mobile is a separate part of it. Online trading and e-payments through web technology, through your desktop or your laptop or any other handheld devices is another big area where you can go and do various features, where you can bring in different kind of experiences for the end users. So these are all the key market growth drivers and challenges for the students who can pick it up and grow their career there. If you look at what are those major products and services in fintech, which I can pick it up, which I can do for the end user community. If you take it that way, you can learn about how robot or the artificial intelligence is coming into picture, how artificial intelligence is being used, what kind of pattern. Because today the financial industry part of it, if you take it, any bank customer, insurance customer, in any bank or in insurance companies or the corporates, how they are looking at how to reach the consumer market. How do I make sure that whoever is visiting my sites or my applications, we are making sure that they are becoming our customer. So for that, you have to do a lot of backend processes. We need to understand what are they looking at, what are their interest area, how often they are coming and going out from my application. During that time, which are the areas they looked at it. Then you can have another campaign mechanism which targets to those users, sending a email, SMS messages, those things, saying that yes, we have investment portfolio. We have seen you that you have visited our website and you looked at this. Are you interested in doing any kind of investment? Are you interested in taking any insurance? Are you interested in looking or buying a share? All those things, it can be automated. If we need to do through manual, it is really impossible. And then the consumer side, we have to do the ranking, especially through mobile banking or digital banking. The applications, how we are doing it, which are those applications or which are the assets of the banking is widely being used by the consumers. So that from the corporate side of it, you are looking at those applications and give the ranking of those applications and see how quickly or how often we can upgrade based on the consumers' demands. So those are all another areas where we can look at as a service which will help, and it will allow us to provide services. That way, as a technology industry people or the software industry people, they can become an expert in that area. Then the payment gateways. Payment gateways have become more and more friendly in today's scenario. Earlier, if you need to make a payment, online payment, there are quite a lot of restrictions, NEFT, and then there is another one, it came in like that. But in today's scenario, within mobile number to mobile number, we are exchanging the money. So the gateways have become more friendly, and it is giving more flexibility for the consumer to adopt it and then improve their part of it. Then the budgeting applications. This is what I was talking about because, sorry, are there any questions? Are there any questions from anyone? I was hearing some noise inputting. Sorry, if there is no questions, then let me continue.
Thank you, sir. The session had been quite informative so far, and we are glad to hear from you. It's my privilege to now introduce. If there are no questions,
Pallavi, sir has not completed. Just a minute. Sir is asking if there are any questions.
Oh,
there
yeah.
are any
So
questions,
just
we are open
give me
to
5
questions.
minutes. I'll
Okay,
complete.
sir. No issue, sir. No issue. Please continue.
Yeah.
Kindly continue.
You can continue.
So when it comes to the user category of the fintech, if you look at it, who will be the end user category? It can be a business to business in banks and financial institution. There could be a business clients of financial institutions. B2C for small business, direct use by the consumer. These are all the key user category. They are primarily looking at the fintech industry. But when it comes to the key trends in the global market, which are those key 4 trends are leading in the market? If I categorize them, first, contactless payment, which we are all aware of, the e-payment or your mobile payment, all those contactless payment due to increase in usage of IoT devices. Then the custom personalization. All the banking institutions are very much interested in knowing their consumers and personalizing their transaction or business with them to make sure that they are fulfilling all the expectations of their customer category. How are they doing it? Most of them in today's scenario, they are trying to leverage artificial intelligence, which is giving so many models, be it from their payment pattern or their transactional pattern or their insurance or loan patterns. Everything is being analyzed very detailed and come up with a proper statistics saying that this particular consumer has this button. So when next time that particular person is coming, immediately, if we propose this particular solution, they are going to buy. So they are guaranteeing that before you take a decision on whether to buy that loan or whether to take that particular insurance or whether you want to invest in that particular share or not, before you take, they are taking a decision that you will do it because they understood your pattern, they are learning your practice. Based on that, they are assuring that I can assure this particular customer is going to buy this product 99% to between 95 to 99%. Or some at times they may say that this customer is just visiting, he is not going to buy. That kind of decisions are already aware for those institutions about yourself. So that level of technology improvement is there in today's scenario, which you all need to focus how we can get those details, what we need to learn for that. So that is where the artificial intelligence and the associated data science, data engineering part of it plays a key role in this. So you all need to understand all those things in detail and try to get courses in those areas for the students especially, and adapt yourself to those new technologies and serve this fintech industry. With that, I'm coming to the end of my session. If there are any questions, I can certainly take it. Otherwise, it is very happy to be part of this conclave program. I'm very much thankful to Professor Dr. Pradipta Sanyalji for giving me this opportunity to talk in this forum. Whatever the little experience I gained about this fintech industry, it allowed me to share with you all. I hope you all got some tips of it. There are a lot more. Before I speak, there are quite a lot of senior speakers. They have shared most of the topics. I'm sure those informations were very useful for me because some of the informations was new to me as well. I learned a lot. Likewise, I hope, dear students, you all might have learned something from this session. Best of luck. Happy learning to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It was very insightful. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Sir, the session has been quite informative so far, and we are glad to hear from you. It's my privilege to now introduce CMA Raja Ghosh, Additional General Manager, FNA, Corporate Insurance, Loans and Bonds, WBSEDCL. He joined erstwhile WBSED, now WBSEDCL, in 1995 as a management trainee, finance and accounts, and in 26 years of his career, has served in various capacities and significant assignments. He has wide experience in power plant accounts, distribution and revenue related activities, worked in internal audit, CAG audit, investment and fund, management activities, budgetary and cost control establishment, and terminal benefits, has immense exposure in pension and gratuity trust funds, related with investment management and asset liability management, secretarial legal functions of the income tax approved superannuation, gratuity trust funds, domestic commercial abbreviations, and project related finance and accounts activities, listening with central government, state government, and REC, LTD about grants relating to rural electrification projects and handling all finance accounting activities from DPR stage to project management, financial activities to financial closure of the rural electrification projects, handling corporate insurance plans, loans, bonds, credit rating agencies, consortium of banks, borrowings from working capital, OPEX and CAPEX loans, SEBI, LODR. His educational qualifications and professional qualifications include MCOM PGDPM from NIPM, gold medalist, all India topper, ECMA, ACS, CFA, and MFA from ICFI University. He holds various certifications and currently pursuing PhD in management from ICFAI University Ranchi, awarded Best Scholar Award by Inspira Research Association Jaipur and Barkatullah University Bhopal in July 2021. His 2 articles of Sri Ghosh got Best Paper Award in international conferences. Now, I would like Dr. Biswajit Acharya to welcome Sir to our university. Please, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
We are very much happy. I just give my heartfelt thanks to you, sir. You accepted our request for joining this conclave. Sir, the insurance sector has traditionally been regarded as a relatively more stable segment of financial system, and it is one of the most highly capital intensive business. Sir, if you could throw some light on the role of insurance in corporate finance and regulated business, we are delighted to hear from you, sir. Please.
Shall I start?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
First of all, let me thank Dr. Pradipta Shanyal, with whom I have been interacting in the last few days, and who gave me an opportunity through my friend, who is one of the speakers, CMA Rajan Ghosh, to just speak a few words and share my experiences as a finance professional with the students of this very renowned Birla Global University, Bhubaneswar. I also convey my kind regards to Honorable Vice Chancellor of this university and esteemed speakers and all the dignitaries of the dais and on the dais, along with the beloved students for whom actually this seminar is being conducted. I would kindly take the request of Dr. Biswajit Acharya, and I would definitely throw some light on the insurance sector in a regulated environment. But before that, today I would like to present a totally different perspective about the role of finance professionals, particularly in India, for which the students are now seeing this particular seminar. You see, as of now, going by the present scenario in the country, we have about 8,118 MBA colleges in the country. They produce lakhs of MBA graduates every year. Then we have about 23 Indian Institute of Technologies and 20 Indian Institute of Management who also produce MBA graduates or postgraduate diplomas every year of high quality and caliber. And then we have the statutory professional bodies of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, the Institute of Cost Accountants of India, and the Institute of Company Secretaries of India, who have their own statutory recognition backed by respective acts of parliament and the respective domain areas and the practice areas and the service areas to which these respective fields of a profession belong. What I mean to say is that these are the places, these are the institutions, these are the universities and statutory bodies who basically produce the finance professionals in the country, isn't it? So through these institutes, lots and lots and lots of finance professionals are produced every year, and we are here today to see the challenges and roles the finance professionals will have in the days to come, particularly in the changing business domain, business environment, isn't it? Now tell me one thing, for becoming a doctor, you have to have studied science at the 10+2 level, having biology as one of the subjects, isn't it? To become a law graduate, you need to pass an exam called CLAT and then study a particular discipline in law and various subjects. Finance is such a discipline, all-pervasive discipline, in which there is basically no financial qualification prescribed when you enter the profession. Whether it is the MBA, whether it is a CA, whether it is a CMA or a CS, after your 10+2, if you are from the arts background or science background or commerce background, you can join an MBA course or you can qualify for the CA, CMA or CS examinations, isn't it? What does this imply? This shows that finance is such a subject which is all pervasive, all important, and which will be there in the next nth number of years to come. This is such a discipline, such a subject which is all pervasive, which will be there. Whatever may be the economic scenario, whatever may be the challenges thrown by the business environments in the days to come. Now, when an MBA graduate comes out of the college, or whether it is a chartered accountant or cost accountant or a company secretary, or maybe an economics graduate or economics postgraduate or a PhD in finance or management or in economics, these all students or people can be employed in the financial domain. Whenever he or she enters a service or a corporate world, either in the public sector to which I belong or the private sector, he or she has to possess multifarious skills and qualities in order to excel in his or her field of finance. I certainly remember a very, very important definition of finance given by Professor Schiller of the famous Yale University, who was a Nobel laureate in economics. He told in one of the classroom lectures which I had attended, what is finance? He told finance is nothing but the art and science of getting things done. He didn't give any very big, cumbersome, jargonistic definition of finance. He told finance is the art and science of getting things done. So whether you are in the corporate sector or in practice as a chartered accountant or a cost accountant, or you are in the insurance sector or banking sector or power sector or the steel sector or the coal sector or in any sector of the economy, the basic function of a finance professional is to facilitate, coordinate, and get things done for the management towards achievement of the organizational goal, which will go a long way in achieving the vision and mission of the company. He is such a specialist professional who interacts and coordinates with the HR, he coordinates with the technical people, coordinates with the marketing people, coordinates with the research and development team, and coordinates with whatnot. Can you tell me any particular executive, any particular domain, any particular person who has not got the flavor of the threats or challenges the finance domain throws on them, whether it is our mother in the household activities, or the university vice chancellor, or the university registrar, or the NGO people, or the people performing in the public sector or private sector in whatever roles they are. You cannot show me a single day or a single moment where the role of finance is not there. Don't think that only if you are in the finance profession, you are dealing with finance. It's totally a wrong notion and a wrong concept. Any line specialist, any line manager, any line person, whether he is an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer, is dealing with finance, and also accounts in every daily aspect of his or her life. Is it clear? Now let us come to actually the core area, which we all say the corporate finance or the finance functions. The organization or the management basically means there can be various roles which we can play either in the internal auditing or the management accounting function or the procurement function, even all the control functions in any organizations. The finance function or the finance professionals are a must. Now coming to the regulatory regime and the power sector, where I have been working for the last 27 years, it is my experience that in the days to come, any business, whether it is the steel or the coal or the insurance or the banking or the power sector, all will be under strict regulatory compliances and will be under strict regulatory regime. So in the regulatory regime, the role of finance professionals will be much more important, because we have the very important task and the responsibility of compliances with all the statutory requirements of the regulator, of the central bank, of the SEBI, of the income tax department, of the GST, and we will have to play a very important role in the determination of competitive price and competitive tariff. Whether you are in the power sector, we know that the State Electricity Regulatory Commission or the CERC, or if it is in the telecommunication sector, the TRAI or the IRDA, the determination of competitive and consumer-friendly tariff or the revenue tariff is a very important area where we, the finance professionals, will have a very, very important role to play in the days to come. I have been listening to a few of the respected delegates and speakers. Yes, I do agree that we do have a very important and a lead role to play as far as the business analytics or data mining or so-called the convergence of artificial intelligence along with the finance domain is concerned. Those are the challenge areas, the IT intervention areas, or the data security or data privacy areas. Those will definitely be a very important area in which we will have to show our mettle. But I personally feel that in spite of all these technical interventions, one particular area which we always forget is the behavioral finance aspects. The behavioral finance issues, how as human beings we interact with the change in the stock market index or the change in the external environments, like the unexpected attack of the pandemic in the last 2 years in 2020. So how we behave as a finance professional, how we deliver with respect to the challenges thrown to us is definitely a very important area for the budding finance professional and the finance managers. And as requested by Dr. Vishwajit Acharya, I have been working in the regulated environment in power sector, and the insurance sector is particularly very important. You know, you are sitting in Bhubaneswar, the Orissa, the state of Lord Jagannatha. You have been facing the consequences of the very important tornadoes and you know, the Bulbul or whatever it called, Amphan, or funny or whatever may be the storms, all those things have led to a great loss of assets, particularly for the infrastructure company, like the power sector company and the government per se. The role of insurance sector comes into play, particularly in the infrastructure companies, where we have to ensure that as far as the breakdowns are concerned or the insurance of the costly assets are concerned, the risks are particularly identified, the risks are analyzed, and effective insurance steps are taken to mitigate the risks so that the loss due to this tornadoes or which will be coming in the days to come are minimized to the extent possible. So insurance has a very important role to play in the regulatory sector, particularly in the power sector and other sectors, where we can hedge the future losses or the unforeseen losses which may arise due to several factors. So insurance is a very important thing, and the funding aspect or the financing aspect of the working capital and the capex or the opex expenditures will be very important in the days to come, particularly in the scenario of when the rates are now, the policy rates or the other repo rate or reverse repo rate are being changed, and I expect further changes in the next few quarters. So that will be a very important insight or role we have to play in the next 2 to 3 years, and contribution to the economy as finance professionals in a country like India, which has withstood the so-called challenge thrown by the pandemic, and to grow the Indian economy to a 5 trillion economy or maybe more, as but the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi, we finance people have a great role to play. And I think I will summarize by just giving a few brief bullet points or suggestions for the finance professionals wherever they are. So I would like to say that there are 6 areas in which I think the finance people will be very vital contributors. They are the navigation areas and the mediation or conciliation or the arbitration areas, the resilience and connectivity to the stakeholders, and the innovative skills. We have to come out from number crunching and invest in the right technical skill sets, and we have to play a central role along with all the key stakeholders and the different disciplines of management, particularly the HR, the technical, the research and development, and the marketing people. We have to play a very important role in seeing that the asset liability management or the ALM chapter is taken care of, because that is an issue where we generally fail in some of the cases where we are not able to plan our assets in future as per the future liabilities. The regulatory aspects are to be ensured, risks mitigation and risk analysis, along with the behavioral issues in finance are very important. One more thing which I want to say is that we have to be compliant with the IFRS and the Ind AS in the days to come. Those are very, I think, not very important issues, because the finance professionals I know will be trained on these 4 areas, and in the future I hope the finance wing or the finance discipline will play a very crucial and very important and a positive and a contributive role in building up the future strategies of all the organizations, whether it is a profit organization or a non-profit organization or in any university. And lastly, I would tell that they will have a very important role in the small sector and the MSME sector also, because that is a very important sector where the finance people have not been able to contribute much. But I think there is a lot of playing field and a challenge in the MSME sector for finance professionals. And one more thing I will say, that when you come out of the home, you are a true finance professional when you are able to guide your father about his financial planning activities, guide your mother about her financial planning activities, her budgeting, guide your son about his educational planning, his educational loan, his financial planning. And at the end of the day, just go and see the fuchka wala, or the small vendors on the road, the newspaper sellers who are maybe less financially educated than you, but exhibit very, very crucial, important financial skills, which we can learn from them. You see, there is a lot, crores and crores of rupees invested in business going on in the footpaths and the Palika Bazaars of Delhi and the footpaths of College Street, Kolkata, and whether you go to Delhi or Mumbai, the total quantum of business which they do. You see, before the Rakhi, you see the Rakhi business booming. Before the Independence Day or the 26th January, you see the flags just over the roads, they are being sold. So what sort of strategic planning these people do, we have to learn from them also. Just having the qualification of MBA Finance or Chartered or Cost Accountants will not make us a true finance professional. We have to be literally educated, at the same time behaviorally developed, having the all ethical background and skills with a visionary aptitude to be true finance professionals. My best of luck to the students. And lastly, thank you, Dr. Sanyal, and the organizers of this symposium for giving me this brief opportunity to present my views on the role and challenges of finance professionals in the days to come. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for rendering
Excellent,
these many
sir. Thank you
helpful-
very much.
It was great privilege to hear from you, sir.
Thank you.
Here
my
on,
friend.
here on, I would request Panindra to take over.
Thank you, Pallavi. Now we would be moving on towards our next panelist, and it's my privilege and honor to introduce CMA Rajendra Bose, sir. Sir is having more than 30 years of post-qualification experience in secretarial, finance, and administrative fields. Sir is currently working as Director Discipline in Institute of Cost Accountants of India, Kolkata. He has the expertise in general administrative activities, personal management, corporate policy implementation, and facility management across assignments. He has also the merit of working as the Secretary to the Training and Education Facilities Committee, as well as Secretary to the Disciplinary Committee. He is proficient in maintaining relationship with corporate and exploring new placement opportunities for the students. He is richly experienced in teaching subjects like financial management, management accounting, business laws and ethics, financial service and taxation. A result-oriented individual with strong analytical, communication, interpersonal and negotiation skill. Sir is a qualified cost accountant and a company secretary. He also holds the postgraduate diploma in banking and finance from Symbiosis Institute of Business Management and a master's degree in commerce from Goenka College of Commerce and Business Administration, Kolkata. I now request Dr. Biswajit Acharya to welcome sir to our university. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. I welcome you to our university. We are very much fortunate to have you. Sir, considering career in finance, most people wonders how to train the students to make them industry ready, as there is a huge gap between the traditional finance and the recent trend of finance. Could you throw some light on what are the recent changes required in the to evaluate the pedagogy? What kind of changes we can make in the pedagogy to make the finance professional to face the current challenges? Please, sir.
Thank you, Professor Acharya. Thank you very much for the introduction. Very good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very good afternoon, respected Vice Chancellor, sir, Registrar, sir, the chief guest, the convener, Finance Conclave, esteemed faculty members, esteemed speakers, and dear students. One of the difficulty, or rather one of the issues of speaking at the end of any seminar or conclave is that much of it have been shared. Much of the inputs have already been given to the students. Nonetheless, even at the cost of repetition, I think I would like to bring certain points, for the benefit of the students in this very interesting topic, the challenges of the finance professionals in the changing environment. Now, the changing macroeconomic environment has brought about a sea change in the ways business is done across the world, and the way account and the finance and accounting industry is also no exception. Gone are those days when finance people used to spend all their time on day-to-day transactional tasks and record keeping. Finance roles are changing daily in a very new and exciting ways, with focus on technology-based finance. I repeat, with focus on technology-based finance. Additionally, the expectations of the industry or the business leaders from the finance professionals seem to have increased a lot. See, the traditional finance department used to be a separate function, focusing solely on carrying out its duties, in silos. But today, the finance professionals need to be a lot more involved in actual running of the business and providing their organizations with the strategic direction and assisting in high-level decision making. I'll just give one example. See how the financial services ecosystem, how it has now evolved tremendously over the past few years, which is driven by a surge in the adoption of digital payment. Not too long ago, even the internet banking has come, say, about 10, 12 years before. But at least I was not using internet banking until COVID came. This pandemic has really changed our behavior. And there's been a great shift towards digital payment. I'm sure some of the students, you must be using now things like GPay and debit and credit card and other forms of UPI, which were not so much of use 3 years before. Although the government, after the COVID stepped in, the government of India laid a lot of emphasis on digital payment. And there's been a surge in the adoption of digital payment, so much so that statistics show that in the first quarter of 2020, that is, supposing that the pandemic had come during, say, 15th March 2020, and if you really look at from March 15 to June 30th, 2020, there has been a large shift towards digital payment in just 10 weeks' time. And this we had never seen in the preceding 5 years. Now, what I'm trying to say, my friend, is that digital payment is one of the very important functions of finance. As a finance manager or as a CFO or as a head of finance, you have to head the finance department, and there you have to make payment to your creditors who have supplied material, your vendors, your suppliers, to government and even statutory bodies. You have to make certain statutory payments like income tax and provident fund and ESI, and these payments have to be countersigned by the head of finance. So one has to be very, 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 very careful in making payment. Why? Because most of the frauds, they take place in payment. If you really look at the corporate frauds these days happening, it is coming out of internet banking. It is coming out from frauds out of internet. Now, when I say that payment is very important and payment is one of the very important major functions of finance, because you cannot, think of any finance function which does not involve any department. And when I say today's finance is technology based, I mean that, what does this mean for you who are becoming budding finance professionals? Does it mean that you lose your job? No. It means that you need to be aware of some of the challenges that you are likely to face once you get placements in reputed companies and start your professional journey. Now, I am talking about ABCD of technology, the new skill sets that any young budding finance professionals would require, the ABCD of technology. A for artificial intelligence, B for blockchain, C for cybersecurity, and D for data analytics. The ABCD is so much important because automation and artificial intelligence are gradually becoming capable of performing some of the duties which traditionally used to be performed by accountants, such as compiling transactions and using them to produce income tax returns or other returns. Today, e-filing has become the order of the day. There is nothing as called paper filing, whether it is corporate income tax filing, personal income tax filing in ITR, GSTR return. Everything is e-filing. And when we talk about e-filing, we talk about automation. Automation has taken over the routine recurring tasks such as tax calculations and payroll processing, which has freed up the time for finance professionals so that finance professionals can utilize their time in more value-adding work such as financial planning and financial analysis and risk management. Now I'm coming to this point. I have just said that automation has taken over. So does this mean that the finance professionals will lose their job or finance professionals will not get a job? No. While technology can take over certain accounting functions, human brain will still be needed to verify the work done by automated technology. Automated technology per se, that is automated technology by itself, cannot do any job. In such a situation, the finance professionals who can adapt to this new system will continue to be in very high demand, as because they are the ones who will help businesses implement and use the automated system. So one is artificial intelligence, that is very important for a finance professional. Second is cyber security concerns. Now, accounting information, we know information is stored in the form of data now, or in a cloud computing, whatever. Accounting information is one of the hottest targets for hackers. The most of the corporate frauds have generated because of either the hackers have hacked the accounting information, or either the hackers have hacked the system, or either the hackers have hacked the bank account details, or credit card information, or password, or accounting system. And all these are very high value information about a business for a hacker. So there's been a great increase of cyber security attacks. And since there is a great increase in cyber security attack, a finance manager or a finance head or a CFO, it is the responsibility of these professionals. I'm sure many of you students would become CFO, that is the chief financial officer, or GM finance. And it is you, my dear students, who have to have all the necessary measures to ensure and protect the financial data. You have slogged day and night, and you have come out with financial data. You have stored in the data. Do you want it to be stolen by the hackers? No. So here we talk about cyber security concerns. You must ensure that the accounting software that you are using is regularly updated, as these updates often involve protection against latest security risks. So access to financial data should be restricted only to those who perform their duties. You need not share your accounting data with all and sundry. Only those few employees of your organization who are actually concerned with preparation or compilation of accounting statement from this data, they are to be shared the accounting data in view of cyber security concerns. The other thing is that as a finance professional, you must have proper checks and balances. If you do not have checks and balances in the system, fraud is bound to happen. And it is also one of the duties of a finance professional today to ensure that frauds are prevented. The next is that a finance professional should develop a skill to provide the real-time data. Now, real-time data has become a rage nowadays. As the accounting systems have now become computerized, the finance department should provide the management with information which is up to date and reflects the current position. For example, you have 5 factories, say one at Angul, one at Hosur in Tamil Nadu, one at Taloja in Maharashtra, one at, say, in Guntur in Hyderabad, and one in Bangalore in Karnataka. Now, you want to know the position of closing stock at the end of the day. The real-time data would tell you on a certain day what is the value of closing stock as on a particular day, and all the 5 factors will tell you just by clicking of a mouse. Here comes the necessity of real-time data. A very important skill for finance professionals to succeed is communication. My dear friends, soft skill is as important as your accounting and finance knowledge. If you do not express yourself, if you're not able to express yourself, everything else will fall flat. There are basic 2 things which are required for success. One, your communication skill. You must have a written communication skill. You must have a very good oral communication skill. And of course, the attitude. The attitude towards the work is very important, because today's world, one person is doing 5 person's job. The concept of multitasking has come into being. Today, no job is menial. A finance manager cannot say, bill processing is not my job or that is not my job. The concept of multitasking has come, and here comes the real attitude. A finance professional should be ready to perform any task which falls within his domain. So communication skill and attitude is extremely important. And why I have talked about all this technology-based finance, you need not be an expert in information technology, but you must know what is cloud computing. You must know how you can store the data in cloud so that it becomes accessible anywhere in the world. That technology you must be aware of. You should have a working knowledge of IT. I'm not saying that you should be an expert. And subjects here, I'm talk about a little bit talk about the pedagogy, which Dr. Bishwajit Acharya has advised me to speak about. Mere information technology as a subject will not help. You need to have these kinds of topics in your curriculum, the artificial intelligence and cyber securities and cloud computing. So if you have this kind of a curriculum which is aligned with the expectations of the industry, the students would do well once they join the industry. Today, we are talking about industry-ready professionals. The corporates, they do not have that time to groom the students as a professional. Although the students would be taken as management trainees or executive trainees or by whatever name called, the corporate does not have time to spend for the students to educate them. So the students, the industry expects that the students have already learned a little bit of all this and they have come before joining the industry. The second thing is risk management. Risk management has become very, very important nowadays because of the risk. I'm sure risk management needs to be one of the core paper and not elective. Those who are specializing in finance, risk management, a 100-mark paper of risk management has to be taught. Why? Because today, those students would be joining bank and financial services, they would be exposed to a lot of risk. The risk, quantum of risk is very high in banking and industry professionals, which arising out of Basel III norms. I'm sure the students who are specializing in finance, they must have read about Basel II and Basel III, where we speak about the credit risk, the market risk, and the operational risk. If a student is working in a financial institution and the financial institution has disbursed loan to its customers, the person who signed the sanction agreement, loan agreement, it is his responsibility to ensure that the money which has been lent comes back along with interest. So there is a credit risk, there's a marketing risk, and any other risk fall within operational risk. The risk management paper needs to be syllabus if it has not, because this is one of the very important papers and it is one of the very important subjects in today's contemporary scenario, business scenario. Because I'm a cost accountant, and I would like to little bit speak about a subject called strategic cost management. Now there are two ways of there are two ways of managing a business. You can either increase profit or you can reduce cost. Now, increasing profit is not everybody's cup of tea, but what you can do is you can reduce cost. Now, things like subjects like cost control and cost reduction, these are the things and their implications will be taught in strategic cost management. You can keep the strategic cost management as an elective paper, so the students who would like to make a career in the manufacturing industry, because typically this cost management is extremely required in a manufacturing industry, and those who want to make a career in manufacturing industry, for them strategic cost management would be extremely important. And of course, last but not the least, the project work that a student does in MBA, that is extremely important. A student should do a real life project instead of a theoretical project or a project involving a research work. If a student is able to do a project work, which itself speaks for the student's caliber and achievement, at the time of final placements, it is the companies who look which student has done a good project. And if a student has done a reasonably good project, he will be snapped up easily. The summer internship project or the summer project or whatever name you have, or a winter project, whatever. These projects are to be done very seriously. And last but not the least, I'm sure many of our dear students would like to become CFO. A CFO has become a key managerial personnel under Section 203, subsection 1 of the Companies Act 2013. There are three people who have been called KMP, key managerial personnel: the managing director, the company secretary, and the chief financial officer. So the CFO has to be extremely vigilant, and the CFO has to be very, very ethical. Otherwise, if the CFO, if there's a fault with the CFO, then there's a huge penalty which is enshrined in Section 203, subsection 5 of the Companies Act. Adhering to ethics and following ethical ways is extremely important. And with this small word, I would like to wrap up my session here. I would like to thank Dr. Professor Pradipta Sanyal and other officials of the Birla Global University for giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts with you. And I wish this conclave a stupendous success, and I wish all the students a very bright future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the informative deliberation. It was a great privilege to hear from you. We would surely contemplate onto all the informative or saline topics you shared. Now, I would request the chairperson of the conclave, respected Dean, Birla School of Management, Professor Parmeshwar Naik, to felicitate the revered speakers with a memento as a token of love and appreciation. Please, sir.
Namaste, all dignitaries present. I just heard Mr. Rajendra Bose ji, so eloquent speaker, and very pertinent. I think the suggestions of risk management and strategic cost management, all those things, I think very well taken. I hope our finance professors have taken note of it, and our students. And seriousness of projects, project work and everything. Very well said, sir. And I have the privilege of just honoring you with a small token of memento as our respect and a kind of love and affection to towards all of you. I am not following any particular order, but just we can go with the last speaker, like something from Viju, it will reach you. It is, but I know whether it is showing. Is it visible? Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible. It is visible, sir.
And also Jagannath, Subhadra, and Balabhadra ji. Is it visible? So these two things will reach you soon, and we hope that you will accept this small memento.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
And thank you very much for coming. And we would our standing invitation to you and all other dignitaries, all the speakers, to visit us in person whenever you are coming to this site of the country or Bhubaneswar in particular. Please let us know, and we will invite you to our university, and so that you can have an interaction with us, and particularly with our young students. They will definitely love to interact with you. So please visit us. I also, the similar mementos will be differently, displayed. But I show to everybody, all the speakers, all virtually we are presenting to all of you this memento, which will be sent through courier by our professors, our department. So to Mr. A.K. Sabatji, I think A.K. Sabatji is our old friend, philosopher. Is he there? Sabatji is there?
No, sir. No, sir. He has left.
Okay. but he has been visiting our university frequently, and he has come today. And CMA Debraj Biswalji, CMA Raja Ghoshji. I think Raja Ghoshji, I could see you. Thank you very much. Again, the same thing I am just showing you your mementos. So it will go to you. Thank you very much for coming. And it's Mr. Kandasamy Ganapati is there.
Dr. Kishore Kumar Jaina, please mute your audio.
So everybody, all the speakers in this particular panel discussion session, thank you very much. And our sincere, standing invitation to all of you to be with us. Thank you very much. Over to the anchor. And I must also, before I close, I must thank Professor Sanyal, Professor Satyakam, and Dr. Biswajit for organizing so nicely the conclave, and I hope our students have benefited from the deliberations. Thank you very much. Thank you.
With this, we have come to an end of the session, and now I would request Professor Pradipta Sanyal to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Pallavi. I'm honored to offer the vote of thanks to all the distinguished speakers. I don't know what word I can use. They accepted my invitation and honor us with this such an informative session. I'm thankful to Sabas sir. I'm thankful to Devraj sir. I'm thankful to Kandasamy sir. Equally thankful to Raja sir and Bose sir. A small piece of information I just wanted to share with all the students. You must have heard about Raja sir, and then you have read his profile. Raja sir is such a prolific reader, and as you have heard that the amount of qualification and experience he has. So the best hobby he has developed over a period of time is reading and appearing examination. So is a learning for all of us, a learning for particularly for students, those who are aspiring to be a finance professional. So apart from your MBA finance, you need to learn a lot if you want to really aspire in your finance career. Coming back to Bose sir, who has been instrumental in my career 20 years back when I joined one of the sister concern of IFI, he was there and he was very much instrumental in guiding me what I am today. One of the significant mentor to me is Bose sir. I'm really thankful to you, sir. I'm equally thankful to Kandasamy sir. We got to know each other in a MDP program that we conducted, and sir was very proactive in attending that session. And at that point in time, I requested sir to join the finance conclave, and he said, yes, I can join, and I will give my insight into the things. I'm equally thankful to Devraj sir, a very senior professional in the area of finance. And I'm really thankful to you, sir, for accepting my invitation and be a part of this finance conclave. Last not the least, Sabas sir, very experienced chartered accountant in Bhubaneswar. And I'm grateful to you, sir, for accepting our invitation to make us know what exactly required for a finance professional. Once again, thank you very much, sirs, for accepting our invitation. We'll be delighted and grateful, and remain grateful rather, if you come down to our university and share your experience with our student, MBA student, BBA student, and students of other programs. They will be delighted, they'll be informed, and they will know the right path to choose and to be a successful professional, whether it's finance, marketing, HR, or any other particular area. We are looking forward to you, sir, and do let us know, please plan, and please come to Birla University. University will remain excited, and university will be very much informed if you share your thoughts and experience with our students. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you all. Thank you, student. Thank you, Dean, sir. Thank you, Satyakant, sir, and thank you, Viswajit, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
So with this, we conclude the session. Pallavi, if you can conclude the session.
With this, we have come to an end of the session, and we would be very glad if all the speakers would once visit our institution. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.